Will petroleum products and alcohol continue to be outside the ambit of GST?
Yes, the current proposal doesn't include it. Right. The states will have
and
to...
you don't see that happening in the near future?
Not in the immediate future.
Okay. Let's move to a few broader economic questions as well. With GST rationalization, inflation is likely to come down quite naturally. Does it make a case for further repo rate cuts in the future? I know it's not your, but generally, directionally speaking.
Not my domain. We'll have to see how the RBI assesses for itself.
September 22nd is a tight deadline. Are you confident you'll be able to roll this? Is the back end ready?
Yes, the back end was mentally prepared, and many structural things have already started getting corrected, reset, and so on. It is with the agreement of these GSTN related technology managing team related issues that we have had a discussion with them, and they have clearly given me the confidence that yes, they will be rolling it out on 22nd.
So Rahul Gandhi, who earlier called it Gabbar Singh tax, now has been talking about one nation, one tax. On the other hand, former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, he said that it is 8 years too late. How do you react to all of this?
Well, being in the opposition, I think they have to say something. When the popular response has been so overwhelming, for an opposition to try to take some credit out of it, but yet with a hesitation that the credit should not be completely given to the government is quite understandable. But I would want them to ponder that neither could they bring it in because they couldn't win the confidence of the states, nor could they truly and literally understand how the mechanism works. After all, the GST Council has members from Congress party.
Yes. Finance
ministers from Congress ruled states are there. But I have a feeling the Congress High Command, as they call it, doesn't do its homework to understand the way in which this wonderful organization works, the GST Council. And therefore, at one point in time, they call it Gabbar Singh tax, another point in time saying, oh, this is fine, but it should have come earlier. These are clearly statements coming from people who have not really spent time to understand how post-independence, that one institution which has been created, a constitutional body, if I'm right, this is the only one which has been created post-independence.
Yes.
He's spent 8 years, but has delivered so much in terms of revenue, in terms of uniting this country, in terms of making ease of doing business a reality, and is now coming up quickly in succession within 8 years with the second generation reforms. To understand it and then to comment would help the government, not stray comments which doesn't get into the details.
Nirmala ji, this has been widely hailed as one of the dramatic reforms of this government. Obviously, a dil mange more. So, what next? PM has set up 2 official level committees on next gen reforms. 2 group of ministers have also been formed, headed by Amit Shah and Rajnath ji. What can we expect in the coming months? What is the idea going forward? How do you look at reforms in the bigger picture?
Quite a lot of work was done about the next set of reforms which we need to undertake, even prior to 24 Lok Sabha elections. And then some departments moved, like ours moved faster. There are other departments which are moving faster as well, whether it is looking at the environment related issues, sustainability related issues, opening up for private sector, sectors which have been the domain and the privy of the government. These are things where lots of action is happening. Various departments are moving. The science and technology is moving very fast. IT is moving very fast. IT as in semiconductors and other things. So that big area of reform, if you ask me, in which these 2 committees will look at, and also the committee which is headed by former Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba.
Right.
I expect reforms which will have to now trickle down rather than remaining as a domain of only the union government. The state governments are somewhat also moving towards reforming on very many scales. But the third layer of India's democracy, the urban local bodies and the panchayats, is where the next forceful action has to move. Otherwise, the speed with which we want to move India and the aspirations to be met in India for people to live in a society, live in a country which is fairly developed, and our citizens get their aspirations met. I think we have to take the reform agenda just not to the states but also to the third layer.
As I move to discussing the GDP numbers for Q1, just before that, another last question on GST, which is how will you ensure that you pass on the benefit to the consumers? We've seen anti-profiteering in the past, so how do you plan to tackle this? Is there a way in which the government is looking at it? How do you ensure?
At the moment, there isn't any particular mechanism that I can say I have, but I certainly am seized of the question. Also coming from many citizens themselves who are saying, it's great that you've done this, it's great that you're bringing in this kind of a drastic cut in taxes, but how will you ensure that we'll benefit from it? And how will you ensure that it's not going to disappear on the course to reach? We'll have to keep talking with industry, we'll have to nudge them, we'll have to... I'm glad in the case of the insurance sector, the public sector insurance companies have come forward to openly say that they will indeed pass the rate cuts to the citizens, those who are taking the insurance for themselves. So I'm sure the private sector would also do it in insurance, and so with other things.
So you're expecting them to announce that they will pass on the benefit?
Many of them are doing it.
Couple of them have, some of them have announced. So Q1 GDP numbers are heartening 7.8%, at a time when President Trump said that, India is a dead economy. How do you react to something like that?
I may not be able to comment on, let's say, foreign head of the state commenting on it. But in India, one line which I keep repeating several times, probably even once when I met you once earlier when we chatted like this, it is the cynics within India who worry me. It is the naysayers within India who worry me. Assume somebody had said it, a head of state has said it. Building India together, and all of us together building India, are we going to carry those tales or stories or observations which somebody else says and then repeat that here, oh, so and so has said this, India's a dead economy, we knew it, this is happening, that's happening. India requires its citizens to be respected. They are toiling and struggling and working to build their families and their economies, their own personal family wealth and whatever. At this time when we are trying to create more opportunities, do we need the naysayers to even borrow such observations, be it as it may that it is coming from a head of state? Do we need our own people to use these expressions? It is undermining not the government, you're undermining our citizens' efforts. And a responsible opposition, I wished didn't repeat these lines, but I think I would react only to what our people are saying rather than a head of state elsewhere.